Jacob.
I'm Yuri.
We're going for a drive.
'19 Lamborghini Urus.
With launch control.
Hit it.
Oh my God.
So
fucking fast.
whoever said this is a fake Lamborghini is wrong.
Oh yeah, you're all liars.
This is so fast and handles so well. Let's start with the horsepower and torque.
641 horsepower, 627 pound-feet of torque from a 4-liter twin-turbo V8.
So usually Lambos are naturally aspirated.
Yes, they are high-revving, naturally aspirated V10s and V12s.
So we've driven an Aventador and an Huracan before.
Yes, we have the Performante.
So now we're in the Urus.
Yes, so this is obviously an SUV, and this is Lamborghini's second SUV after the Lambo.
So I guess sports car companies now are making SUVs so that they could sell them and maintain their companies kind of like Porsche did.
Yeah, and this is the world's first super sports utility vehicle.
As labeled by them?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
But enough of our voices. Let's put this in Corsa and let's hear some of this exhaust sound because it sounds so good. Holy crap.
Hit him with the cliche.
All right, here we go. Full send into cliche corner and this is unbelievable. It feels like a car and I hate saying that, but it actually does.
I think this is the most car-feeling SUV.
Yeah, for sure it is. This is the best SUV I've ever driven in terms of driving. Like, no question, nothing. This is perfect.
I was going to say it's at the top of my list as well.
Top of the list or number one at the list?
Well, I think I enjoyed myself in the Alfa Romeo Stelvio more. However, this is better and I would take this.
That's shocking, but okay, all right. I love this. I would take this, no question, if money was no object.
And I think I'm a little bit rattled by the non-column mounted paddles.
Really?
Well, the Alfa Romeo had it, the Levante had it, every Lamborghini has column mounted paddles, but in the SUV, now we're on the steering wheel.
But we do like steering wheel mounted paddles, however, they are always bigger on column mounted, so it is more enjoyable.
It's just more different for me, and when I get a Lambo, that's what I want, is different. Before we keep going, we want to know who's bought a car thanks to our car buying advice.
So send us a DM on Instagram at TheStraightPipes and at Yuri Tereshin. Let us know what car you bought because of our advice, and we want to know because we get to drive more fun stuff like this. Back to the video. So anyways, this has a ZF 8-speed auto, and it shifts like lightning fast. My God, this car is so fast. SUV, sorry.
My favorite part about the transmission is that it knows exactly what you want to do. I guess you kind of have to be in the right mode, kind of, but no matter what mode you're in, it reacts very well.
Oh, it's always fast, but I just leave this in Corsa because it's actually surprisingly not too stiff. For an SUV, it's definitely stiff, but even in Corsa mode, it's fine to drive in this like daily driving.
But in Corsa mode, you lose a lot of your safety features, which this has a whole ton of.
True, and you can't even use your adaptive cruise when you're in Corsa because Corsa is race. So let me explain these modes because they are in Italian. So we use our ANIMA thing over here, which stands for Adaptive Network Intelligent Management.
So they made an acronym sound Italian?
Yes. So we put it in Strada for street, Sport for sport, Corsa for race, Sabbia for sand, Terra for earth, dirt, kind of off-road mode, and then Neve for snow, or Nev, I'm not sure how to pronounce that, sorry. And then we also have Ego, but if you look really quickly, it looks like Eco, but there's definitely no Eco in this car.
So that's just your custom settings.
Exactly, so you have 3 different ways to adjust that.
And the way to switch the modes is super awesome. You pull back on this lever like it's a friggin' rocket ship or something.
It is the coolest. However, what bothers me is I can't push it back forward. So once I'm in Corsa and I want to get back into Strada, I gotta click down like 7 times.
Check this out, 4.
That's what I'm saying.
That's cool though.
It's fun.
It's like you're pumping shotguns.
Pretty much.
To make your Lambo go faster or slower.
And then let's talk about that. So we also have this shifter pad thing for reverse.
Yeah, so to start the car, you need to lift like the rocket launch button, press start, or you can stick your finger through, which it never fits. And then to get it in drive, you click the paddle to put it into first, which kind of makes sense if you know other Lamborghinis.
Because this is a Lamborghini.
Yes.
And what other Lamborghinis also have is, if I click both the paddles, neutral, and I can be a jerk and just rev all day. It's the best. And then I click the paddle and I'm back into 3rd gear.
I absolutely love that feature. That's one of the things that sucks about McLaren is that since the paddles are connected, you can't just like pop into neutral.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yuri, would you mind if I sent it into cliche again?
Only if you try to get the back loose.
Okay, so I'm gonna try and get the back loose and Honestly, I almost cannot get the back loose because this has all-wheel steering and it is all-wheel drive, and it handles incredibly well, feels so friggin' planted. I'm pretty much convinced if you do leave traction in ESC Sport, which is in Corsa, you can't get the back end to step out.
Yeah, you gotta like probably do some real tricks and like really get the momentum to make it kick out for a commercial or something.
Exactly, which I'm not gonna do today. It takes corners so flat and the steering is so friggin' direct, like it's razor sharp. The smallest movement of the steering wheel is the biggest movement of the car, and the car itself shouldn't move the way it does for an SUV.
I think the biggest way to notice it is if you drive a more regular SUV and then drive this, the amount of input you give, you're like, oh, I turned too tight.
That's exactly it. So let's talk more about the shifter now.
Okay, the reverse. You've got to pull the whole thing all the way back.
It's cool.
It's kind of intimidating. There's like a lot of weird gimmicks to it, but that's part of the best part of it.
Yeah, Lamborghinis should have little weird quirks about them, and this definitely does have quirks.
You can't say quirks that much.
I asked Doug, it's fine.
And then quickly back to those paddles. What do you think of the quality of them compared to other Lamborghinis or other maybe German cars?
Yeah, so the paddles are definitely better than Audi's paddles, which I'll get to in a bit. They're not as good as other Lambos like the Huracan and the Aventador.
Are they even metal?
I think they're metal. They feel kind of metal.
The fact that I have to like second guess it,
I know,
kind of disappoints me.
but they don't feel that bad.
No,
I know what you mean.
I want those Alfa Romeo paddles.
These look cooler though, because they're like
I don't think so.
sharp.
Strongly disagree.
No, these are so sharp. They're like Lambo sharp.
The Alfa ones were like this big, man. So let's talk about looks, because this is the first new style Lamborghini SUV, and it is very controversial.
It is, but it's also not, at least not to me.
So what's not controversial to you?
The whole front end. It looks like a Lambo to me.
How about the side?
The side's kind of weird because it's an SUV.
But it is very sharp. It's got strong hexagonal shapes everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like they have design elements from every other Lamborghini in here.
But certain angles in certain colors, it does look bad. Like from a side angle in gray, it can look kind of muddy and just like, what is that?
Oh yeah, as far as I'm concerned, this should only be bought in yellow.
And people are comparing it to the Aztec and stuff, which is pretty funny.
That is kind of funny, just because the lines and the sharpness.
Exactly, so like there are weird parts, but I do think it is a super good Lamborghini SUV, much better than the first attempt from Porsche to make an SUV.
Yeah, so Porsche made the Cayenne first, which ended up pretty much saving that whole company. So we should get into that a little bit for this one.
Yeah, after we finish with the looks.
Okay.
So let's start with the front end then. We've pretty much got a stretched out Aventador, I guess.
Yeah, for sure we do. And if you just look at the top half of it, it looks like a Lambo.
And in the front end, I think my favorite part is how you can get those kind of triangle sections to show up, but that's an option, right?
Yes, it is. You don't have to get them painted.
And then behind that, we've got some rads and stuff like that. Lots of vents for everything. Nothing fake really on here.
Not on the front, but there are some on the back.
We've got very Lambo headlights, and then we've got that nice Lambo logo up front, and we've even got a cool little radar buried in there, and it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb.
And this does have night vision as well.
So now if we move to the side view, amazing body lines, like amazingly crisp. And the way the window lines look in the side view, it does look very coupey, like a slant back, kind of like the X6 and the new Porsche Cayenne Coupe.
Yeah, I think this is my favorite looking of all of the coupe style SUVs, which I really don't like. And while I'm driving, the driving position is so low, I absolutely love it. And then if I look to my side view mirrors, I can actually see a little bit of shoulder from the back end.
Yeah, doesn't it look so beefy with that? Like that helps a lot.
It does help. And I really like these wheels. Lambo nails their wheels, and this is no exception.
What size are these?
These are 22s.
They look pretty big. That's like only 1 inch bigger than my Prowler, I think.
No, it's definitely not. You do not have 21-inch wheels.
I'm pretty sure it's 20.
You
or
don't
21.
have 21-inch wheels.
It's at least 20.
I'm sorry to break that to you.
Let me check real quick. And what's the Continental recommended tire?
The Conti Sport Contact 6.
And then how about the back view?
Back view's all right.
You know, this is one of the few cars where the rear 3/4 angle is not my favorite angle.
Yeah, I agree.
But it looks good. We got a little spoiler on the back. We've got Lambo style taillights, kind of like the Veloster N, but like only one all the way across.
I love the taillights.
I wish I had like more kind of like the Veloster N.
Yeah, no, I love these taillights. And then we got some fat exhaust, and they sound incredible, and I'm gonna let you listen to that once again. Oh, this pulls so hard. And the exhausts are very real.
Yeah, 2002 real.
Yeah. That's a compliment, by the way.
And then we've got like a gray diffuser at the back. It's pretty good. But it doesn't say Urus anywhere on the back.
No, it doesn't.
I don't know if there's a badge delete option or whatever, but I think just saying Lamborghini is enough. I think people will know.
Does the Huracan say Huracan? No.
I don't know.
Does the Aventador? No.
No, well,
it's a Lambo.
It says Performante on the
side.
side. Yeah. But well, I guess this kind of says it on the side. on my favorite feature, the Sidestep, the chrome flexible Sidestep.
Yeah, that's the one feature we didn't talk about because we absolutely can't stand it.
It makes the car look so ugly.
Yeah, so definitely just don't option that because you don't have to have that.
But what's cool is we've got frameless windows on these doors.
Yeah, they look awesome when they're opened.
And then when you open the door, you get the thing where you don't get dirt on your pants because the door covers the rocker panel, but it's kind of useless with the Sidestep.
However, if you open the doors at night, you got nice Lambo logos on the ground in the front and in the back.
So I guess that's pretty much it for Lamborghini Urus looks. What color do you think? Yellow only, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
This one's white, which is actually pretty cool. I absolutely hate the gray.
Yeah, the gray just doesn't do it for me at all.
But when the Urus first came out, I wasn't too sure on the looks, but I follow Heather Lamborghini on Instagram.
Heather Lamborghini girl.
Heather Lamborghini girl, and she's always specking out the craziest Uruses and pretty much everything.
Yeah, you can get a full-out yellow interior on, like yellow on yellow.
So I don't know, give her a follow and like check out all the crazy specs that they make these in. Like I don't even understand how it's possible.
Yeah, you can get this in the wildest spec, and this is definitely far from the wildest looking spec.
This is very tame.
Oh yeah.
Also those side steps.
Yeah, Now let's get you into the driver's seat. But first, I just want to talk about the actual exhaust, the tone and the crackles. I'm going to send it one more time. Okay, so that ZF 8-speed upshift chainsaw style, which we absolutely love. The actual tone of the V8 sounds so much better than the one in the Cayenne, which this engine is based on. The crackles and pops on this are so cool, they're endless. So if you keep tapping the throttle, just tap, 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 crackle, 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 it's the coolest sound. It kind of sounds like a drum beat. It's just like drum beat, drum beat, drum beat. Like watch.
But I don't know if I'm into that in a Lamborghini, you know what I mean? I'm not into it.
I get it. I want this to be a high revving V10 as well, but it is what it is, and I like it.
And that's why I think I like driving the Alfa Romeo a little more, because that exhaust sound compared to this.
Yeah, this is a much deeper sound. But anyways, let's get you into the driver's seat.
So here's why I like the transmission so much. Put it into Strada, nice and quiet, but if I floor it, it'll still do what I want it to do.
It's still ridiculously fast, but the exhaust is quieter.
Yeah, but the way everything kicks into gear so quickly, it makes it perfect. Like if you needed to drive this around regularly and then you floor it, like you don't need to do like, oh, switch to drive mode to make everything work. Like it just goes all the time.
Yeah, and if you were to do launch control, this will do 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.6 seconds, which is pretty freaking fast.
And the more I look at this thing speeding around town, the more it looks like kind of a big wagon to me more than an SUV.
Okay.
Like, don't you know what I get the feeling? It's so low, so wide, it's almost just like a fat wagon.
I guess, but aren't all SUVs just fat wagons?
I mean, an E63 wagon is a lot different than a GLC. Well,
see?
I don't even know.
Yeah, SUVs are fat wagons.
Yeah,
there you go.
I'm okay with that. I'll allow it. Okay, right after Cliche Corner, I'll talk about the interior. Way too fast. So inside, we've got a pretty good infotainment. It's pretty much right out of the Audi Q8, but it's totally reskinned to match everything else in the Lamborghini lineup.
Yeah, if you've ever driven an Audi, you'll be right at home with this infotainment.
Like you absolutely loved it in the A7.
I love it in here.
So unlike a lot of luxury cars, this doesn't have a scroll wheel to control everything. This just has two touchscreens, which are very easy to use, but they come stock with like a haptic feedback thing on. So you got to go into the MMI settings, turn that off so it's just click and works like a normal touchscreen. And there's a theme with Lamborghinis where things are hexagons or octagons. What is it?
It's hexagons and Ys.
So we've got a lot of hexagon shapes all inside this infotainment. Everything's skinned that way. And it actually looks pretty good and it suits the rest of the car.
Yeah, it's unique to Lambo and it works in here.
So we've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto.
Yeah, it works flawlessly.
Rewinding satellite radios. No tune mix though. We've got the built-in Google Maps style navigation, which looks really nice. And on our lower screen, we got our climate functions, stuff like that, and a little button for shortcuts.
I love it.
Then up here on the left on the big screen, we can actually shortcut stuff onto the left side too.
Yeah, we can have our Android Auto Apple CarPlay right there.
And then we've also got a really good high-res 360 camera, reverse camera, all the parking sensors and stuff. But I've got a little beef with the 360 camera. So the stitching is kind of weird. So when we go from the front camera to the side camera, it kind of moves around like this and changes the stitch around. So when you're trying to park to something close, you can't get an accurate reading.
Yeah, I saw that. I know what you mean, but it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, to me, it drives me crazy. Like, there's other manufacturers who nail that stitch perfectly, and this one just like I don't like how it moves.
I just love the resolution, and I don't really care about anything else because of that.
Then if we move to our gauge cluster, this is probably my favorite part. The graphic design for the gauges are so perfect. So if we're in Strada,
That was 25 clicks later.
5 clicks. I did the math. So we've got a blue tack that goes through as we get faster. And then if we click down to Sport, it turns orange, which is really nice. And then if we want to go really fast, one more click to Corsa.
And the gauge cluster completely changes.
And it looks exactly like the Huracan Performante did, which
Yes, it does.
is super cool.
Yeah, I love it.
And these gauges, when you switch gears, the numbers come in with such a cool animation, and there's like no lag in the entire system. In none of the graphics, nothing.
The lack of lag is my favorite.
And with that change, you also get a head-up display change, which makes it so easy to shift. It's got its hexagons again for like shifting patterns. It's so clear, so much better than that X3M, X4M we drove in.
Oh my God, yeah. This is unreal. This is perfect.
Which to me is kind of shocking that such an exotic company nails graphic design so hard. Usually you're like, oh, it's gonna be super weird, but I'm gonna take it because I want the fast car. But this is the best of both worlds. And then what I also like with the gauges is we can click on this left menu button. We can get our lap times, lap stats, sports displays, or my favorite, reduce display. So when we click that, it gets rid of everything. All we have is our speed, our tack, and our gear. Oh, and then also in the head-up display, when you're using all your lane keep assist and all that stuff, which works really well, just like the Audis do, it shows up very clearly in your head-up display.
Yeah, it does, like you said, work very well.
And it's so intuitive.
So you mentioned Audi. So Lamborghini is owned by Volkswagen Group. So this does share parts with the Q8, the Q7, the Bentley Bentayga, and the Porsche Cayenne. So it's actually sharing some parts with some pretty damn good cars.
So I guess they don't have like a skeleton crew in Italy making up a whole computer program, even though they're car engineers. You actually have car engineers making infotainments and everything that already work perfect.
And like we mentioned earlier on in the video, Porsche Cayenne basically saved Porsche. And I think not that Lamborghini needs saving, but this is just gonna let them build more sports cars, more Aventador SVJs, more Nürburgring lap times.
More cool press cars for us to drive in the future.
Yeah, exactly. So there's nothing bad about the Urus. Anyone that's upset, you're upset for the wrong reasons.
They're probably just upset because they can't afford one.
Pretty much.
So let's quickly wrap up the rest of this interior. We've got lots of great materials, brushed aluminum, Alcantara, some gloss black, which isn't the worst because it is such an expensive SUV.
There is a lot of gloss black, but yes, this is at the price point where you're not going to clean it yourself.
We've got cool armrests that ratchet forward, a really, really nice, comfortable steering wheel with the Lamborghini logo in the middle, which is awesome.
And the Italian flag, just as a little friendly reminder.
All the buttons, everything we need is very easy to find. Lots of room in the back seats. Do you fit just fine?
I fit completely fine behind myself, headroom and legroom. I was shocked.
We got a cool moonroof. We've got a lot of room in the trunk. We should probably do the box test.
Box test! 5, 6, 7, 8, and our newest guy, Nemesis Autosport 9. Get your own box on patreon.com/TheStraightPipes.
And the visor test.
Oh yeah. Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Oh, damn it! Wait a second. Supercar pass?
Is there a second one? Nah, I guess
This is a supercar.
we got to make a new super SUV and super truck test.
Man.
And then it will fit a small ice cap just perfectly fine. And this has kick to open in the trunk as well, which is super nice. And it's got cool privacy cover, just like lots of room, more room for an SUV than I thought it would have.
It's extremely practical. It is a Lamborghini. It has a Lamborghini badge, but it's so practical. You could just daily drive this.
Especially for a coupe SUV.
Yeah, exactly. The seats are super comfortable. We got these nice stitched in headrests, which you obviously have to pay extra for.
And I guess that pretty much rounds off the interior.
I would actually like to talk about the Bang & Olufsen 3D audio system, which is an option on this.
Do you like it?
I love it, and guess how much it costs, because I had to look at the little options list.
$8,000 Canadian.
Pretty much bang on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, $8,347. Crazy, but it sounds so good, so I mean, you might as well just check that box.
And the speakers come out of the dash.
Yes, they do. One other thing behind the wheels, which looks super cool, are the massive carbon ceramic brakes.
10 piston?
Yeah, they're huge.
They're like bigger than this steering wheel.
You already hit the brakes for me hard. Oh my,
That wasn't even full.
Yeah, I know. I kind of should have expected that. Okay, but anyways, they stop like crazy, and carbon ceramics are actually standard on this, which makes a lot of sense.
I guess I've heard carbon ceramics aren't the best for actual racetrack driving.
Yeah.
You want steel ones, but I think for road driving, just to have fast brakes once in a while,
Yeah, pretty much.
and they look cooler. Are you a little surprised that there's like no carbon fiber in here?
Well, you can option it.
The only carbon fiber I saw was on the gas cab.
Oh yeah, that's right. And this does have air suspension, so you can raise it crazy high, so you can go off-roading, go into the snow, but it also dumps pretty low, not as low as I would like it for air suspension.
Yeah, it could go a little bit lower, maybe like a show mode or something.
Exactly, but it does lower automatically when you're driving at higher speeds as well, so maybe if it just could be parked in that mode.
So is that it?
That is now it.
Okay, so let's get into the price.
$232,000 to start.
Canadian.
And this one is obviously not the base model, so this one is $277,152.
You know what?
That's worth it.
That's kind of cheap for a Lamborghini.
Exactly, it is. It honestly is.
And for the fastest, coolest SUV, I mean, I guess maybe the Cullinan is more expensive, but I don't think it's as fast and wild. Like for the fastest super SUV.
This is the only super sport SUV.
Well, I guess like Trackhawk's there too, but I think for the fastest one, that's a fair price.
This is faster than a Trackhawk, but the Trackhawk is like very, very close in terms of speed.
And it's very, very American and very, very different.
Yes. Everyone stares at this on the road. I had a guy that pretty much almost crashed right in front of me. I wish I had a dash cam. He was trying to take a video of me behind him, and then he ended up on the curb. But anyways, this gets a lot of attention. That's the number one thing that people want when they buy this, and you get it.
Because as someone who's in the industry, when I see it, I'm like, okay, it's a Lambo SUV, but like, you don't feel that it's a Lambo SUV until you're behind the wheel personally.
Yeah, I kind of get that.
Like, you're like, all right, cool, but then once you drive, it's like, oh yes!
The engine, the sound, the performance, the steering wheel, like everything, the driving position.
All the little badges then, once you realize, you're like, yes, I'm in a Lambo.
This is a Lambo.
Okay, so other competition, kind of. I guess fast SUVs. We've got the Range Rover SVR was pretty wild as well.
It was.
But not as wild as this, but maybe the exhaust was better.
Yeah, the exhaust was very different and unique.
Then the Alfa Romeo Stelvio is like, not quite here, but it is pretty awesome as well.
Smaller and slower.
But sounds better.
Then we have the Trackhawk, obviously, and the Cayenne Turbo, which we've also driven.
Does the GLC 63S kind of compete with these as well?
Yeah, kind of.
But that feels more car-y than this.
Yeah, it does.
And I guess it's just time for Ferrari and Aston Martin to come out with one as well. Like I've seen from prototypes or whatever online.
Yeah, they're coming soon.
Do you think they're going to be better than this?
I don't know. The Aston Martin, I feel like it won't be, but the Ferrari, not sure.
Oh, and then the Levante.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I mean, it's like Italian SUVs that are fast. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff going on with SUVs, and I know you hate them.
Yeah, I just don't like SUVs in general, but I like this.
I think personally, I like fast SUVs.
Don't say it.
More than I like fast sedans.
No.
Not fast two-doors, but like, you're a sedan guy?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a sedan guy, not really.
I was so nervous that you were going to say that you like them more than like Aventadors and Huracans for a second there.
No, not at all. Like maybe the doors went up. Like
we
had like gull-wing stuff like a Model X.
This should have doors that go up.
So let us know where the Lamborghini Urus falls in line with other fast SUVs and fast Italian SUVs.
Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, check out patreon.com/TheStraightPipes, and join our YouTube membership.
And check out Teespring for shirts.
Swag.